Although I find the pen to be beneficial in most applications, there are times at which I do find using a mouse also beneficial, such as checking my email or scrolling through a long web page, for example. What I'm going to do here is show you just a couple of the options that you have available to you if you do wish to assign custom settings to your mouse. In the tablet properties or control panel, I've selected Intuos 3 as the tablet I wish to customize, mouse as the tool, and then I've left the application area open or set to all because these particular settings that I'm going to assign are going to be universal or available to all applications. In the lower portion of the control panel, we have two sections, mouse and mapping, that we'll cover. Under mouse, you'll find a series of drop-down menus to the left and right of the illustration in the center. These are simply various keyboard shortcuts or clicks or some of the other options that you may have seen in the pen tablet setup or the pen option setup. I'm going to go ahead and leave those alone, and I'm going to come down here to this wheel section. The center button on the mouse also doubles as a scrolling finger wheel, and with this wheel you can assign a different function from the default, which is scroll, for example, to keystrokes, or you can actually disable it as well. But keystroke, for example, you can set a forward or backward position, and or up and down if you wish, by clicking on this button right here, a top and bottom position. What you're greeted with is a dialog box that is looking for input from your keyboard to assign that keyboard shortcut. I'm going to go ahead and leave it blank because in this case I don't really set mine up personally. I mean, I got a pen tablet so that I could take advantage of the pressure sensitive functionality of that pen in Photoshop and other applications. But again, keeping in mind the mouse is versatile, you can assign custom settings should you wish. But I'm going to return this back to scroll again because I don't particularly customize it myself. Under scrolling speed, this applies to the wheel once again, and for example the default, which is medium, is fine for most things, but if for example you've got a long list of images within a document, or excuse me, within a window, you may find it beneficial to speed this up a little bit, such as very fast, or sometimes if I'm looking at very long PDF documents or multi-page PDF documents, I'll set this up to page, and that way the single click as I'm scrolling up or down with the finger wheel will zip through various pages of that PDF document. Finally, if you wish to assign a common modifier to that function, you can assign your command, option, shift, and control as well, or control, alt, shift, and also the Windows button. So those are some of the different options that you have available to you. As I click on options, you'll find the universal settings that were covered in the pen section, hover click, click and tap, and then also the handedness. And by the way, the handedness is more appropriate for this mouse because again it changes the orientation of the tablet mouse itself. But I'm going to go ahead and click on cancel because I don't really need to set that up. And then finally I'll look at mapping. And this one's kind of interesting here. The orientation by default is landscape. However, should you wish, you can change that orientation to portrait, landscape flipped, or portrait flipped. Now, in most cases, you probably wouldn't want to do that, but there are occasions where people are using tablets flipped on their side because they don't have room on their desk necessarily, or they're using them for special applications. But in most cases, you're probably going to leave that at landscape. Under mode, we have two different options here. We have pen mode and mouse mode. Pen mode refers to absolute positioning, which we talked about a little bit earlier. Pen mode refers to the tablet working in this absolute mode, meaning corner to corner on your tablet is going to map proportionally to your display. In mouse mode, which is also referred to as relative mode, refers to the ability to pick up your mouse and reposition it on the mouse pad to get your cursor to go where you want it to go. So in most cases you're going to go ahead and leave that mouse in mouse mode, so we're just going to leave that set up there. Towards the bottom portion we have acceleration and speed. These are pretty typical of mouse customization options. If you've ever used a mouse before, you've probably seen something like this in that control panel. Acceleration refers to just that, how fast the cursor is going to accelerate as you move the mouse on the tablet. And then speed is, again, just that. It's going to adjust from slow to fast, just how fast that cursor is going to speed up as you do move that mouse across the tablet. And again, this is something I actually do set right here. I don't like to have to move my mouse very far when it is on the tablet, so by dialing the speed up just a little bit towards the fast end of the slider will enable me to just barely touch my mouse to make that cursor move pretty quickly. So that is one section or one option that I do find that I set quite often. So those are some of the different options that you have available to you for the mouse. Again, I don't particularly set up too many custom settings for my mouse, again, because I'm most often using my pen. But as you can see, you do have quite a bit of functionality that can be assigned to that mouse.